You don't put your foot down because you're afraid of your woman, and she knows it. A high car payment is the quickest way to go broke. The deadlift is hard. That's why it works. So you're on birth control, you don't have a boyfriend, but you're not a slut.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 321st edition of TSR Primetime, your nightly dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. Let's get to it. The very first job I had when I first moved to Las Vegas was a call center sales position. Basically, my job was to sell cell phones to people calling in, inquiring about our cell phone plans, and of course the many cell phones we had. And I was good. I mean, I was really good. My very first month, I actually finished with the third most sales in terms of volume and units, right? Then the month after that, I finished first in both categories by a landslide. My bonus was a little over $3,500, $3,500, in addition to my hourly wage. That was an unbelievable paycheck. Now, of course, I blew nearly all of that paycheck and my bonus on useless nonsense, alcohol, and other bullshit stuff that I thought that I needed. No, I didn't spend any money on cocaine because I hadn't graduated to that level quite yet, but I digress. Anyway, my third month started out very, very slowly. I was still more or less basking in the glow of having thousands of dollars in my pocket for the first time in years. I had the title of the best salesman in the company and the attention of all of the call center sluts, right? One of which I hooked up with my very first month. And if you want to know more about that, just look up Red Pill Origins Volume 1 on patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. That is actually the story about the girl that I hooked up with, who was out on a date less than a few hours after I dumped her face to face, which led me to Google why do girls get over breakups so easily. I found the red pill after that, and the rest is history. Anyway, I think I was probably maybe 10th or 11th place around the middle of my third month there. I was no close to hitting this bonus. In other words, if I didn't sell a certain amount of units, then all I would make that month was my salary. This is how it went. You have to sell a certain amount of units and a certain volume in order to make bonus, and to that point, I was nowhere close. Well, the month before, I had actually told my roommate that I was moving out because of my bonus from the previous month, which would allow me to finally get my own place after living with him for a couple of months. Like I told you, my dumbass blew my entire bonus on useless bullshit. So now I'm broke. My roommate thinks I'm moving out. He already has someone moving in on the date I'm scheduled to move out. So at this point, I'm between a rock and a hard place, obviously. Now, I knew he wasn't going to kick me out if I told him, hey, look, man, I'm not going to be able to move out until next month. But by the same token, I didn't want him to have to renege on his agreement with his new incoming roommate, who would be paying a lot more than I did. So I had to get my ass in gear to make bonus. The last week and a half of the month of October, I sold literally 10 times as many units as I had the first 2.5 weeks of the month. I finished 5th for the month, I made my bonus, and I was able to move out and get a place of my own. The situation I found myself in caused me to have a sense of urgency, and I reacted accordingly. I knew that there could be a potentially uncomfortable situation if I didn't make bonus, and that's what motivated me to step up my game, get my ass in gear, and sell those units. Having a sense of urgency brings out the best in people, and it also brings out the worst in people depending upon the situation and, of course, the person. When the pressure is on, some people fold and other people focus. In either case, a sense of urgency heightens one's awareness of their particular situation. And at some point, they have a choice to make subconsciously. They can either do what's necessary to avoid disaster or accomplish their goals. They can decide to give up completely, or they can give it their best shot and still fail. A sense of urgency is what lets a person know that shit's about to get real. And this is in all areas of life, guys. Work, women, finances, competitive sports, you name it. A sense of urgency and how you respond to it is really what separates the boys from the men. For example, my Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, but do I expect them to win it again this year? Fuck no. They've already reached the mountaintop. They're world champions, and everybody who plays them this year, that's going to be their Super Bowl. You think the Atlanta Falcons, who's coming in here, next Thursday, You don't think they're going to come in here with a sense of urgency? They lost Super Bowl 51. That was engineered the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history by Tom Brady. The very next year, they met us in the playoffs and we knocked them out, right? Winning a Super Bowl is hard, guys. Winning 2 in a row is even harder, and that hasn't happened since I think the Patriots won Super Bowls 38 and 39 back in 03 and 04. But that hadn't happened. It hadn't happened then, since the Cowboys had done it a decade earlier, winning Super Bowls 27 and 28 in the 90s. The reason it's hard to go back to back is because it's hard to have that same sense of urgency after you've won it all. It's hard to stay hungry when you've already eaten. Last night, I discussed the first 6 steps, the first 6 months in getting your wife back in line and getting your marriage back on track. I talked about the fact that you need to get yourself into shape. I talked about the fact that you need to learn how to handle shit tests more effectively. I talked about the fact that you need to take up more masculine productive hobbies and activities like joining, martial arts, joining a motorcycle club, joining a bowling league. I also discussed the fact that you need to build a life outside of your wife so that she learns to value your time and your presence more. Of course, I talked about conditioning your wife to understand that your attention, your presence, and your affection are all contingent upon her sexual availability and willingness. Okay? In other words, if you're not trying to fuck, I will find something else to do outside of the house that does not involve you. That's really what you're telling your wife. By the end of month 6, most wives who still love their husbands, have a modicum of love for their husbands, would fall right back in line and start doing the things they need to do to keep their husbands around. If a woman really does love her husband, then there's no reason for her not to do whatever it takes to keep the new, improved, higher value husband in her life. Like I said last night, most of the time, a woman is looking for a reason to fall back in love with you. Now, on the other side of that coin, she is always looking for a reason to cheat on you. But if you do the first 6 steps, and you take 6 months to do it, then she will do the easier thing simply by staying with the man she fell in love with. It's easy for women to cheat, but it's not easy for them to hide it, keep it away from her family, keep up with her family, her job, her kids, and all the rest of that. So when and if her husband actually becomes attractive to her again, it's just so much easier and so much less bullshit to stick around a man she already loves and loves more now. Again, this is contingent upon if she truly loves him. But I also said that there will also be plenty of wives who won't fall back in line, even after the first 6 months. For whatever reason, it simply is not sinking in that her higher value husband is probably attracting higher value women. Something inside her will not allow her to believe that what she is seeing is for real. Something else that might be happening is that she simply doesn't believe he's going anywhere. And why would she? Listen, she knows that she'll get the kids in the event of a divorce. She knows that she's going to get half of his present and future earnings. She knows that in the event of a divorce, she will more than likely come out way ahead. She also knows that the reason he is transforming himself is to regain her attention, her affection, and her sexual favors. Listen, they're not stupid, guys. They know that when you start going to the gym, they are doing it so that you will want to have sex with them again as the wife, right? Now, some guys might think, well, she might think he's getting back into shape for something else, and she may very well might, right? She very well might. After all, he's spending 2-3 nights a week out of the house, right? For all she knows, he might not really be going to the shooting range. He might be fucking someone else when he's not at home. But unlike men, women don't really allow themselves to spiral out of control with what they might think could be happening in terms of sexual infidelity. They have their suspicions, but they don't start to go completely crazy unless they see hard evidence or other behaviors that are conducive to infidelity. So at this point, she has her concerns, but she still hasn't come around. And it's fairly clear that she's not worried about him going anywhere. Well, the reason for that is that she does not have a sense of urgency. She is way too comfortable right now, guys. Just like when I had that $3,500 in my pocket after getting that huge bonus. Okay? And when someone does not have a sense of urgency, it is human nature to slack off. It is human nature not to work as hard. It is human nature not to be as focused. Wives believe that everything is going to remain status quo regardless of what they say or do or not say or do. And that is what we will discuss tonight. The first 6 months was a process we like to call passive dread. Okay? Passive dread is indirectly signaling to your wife to get her ass in gear. More often than not, the first 6 months is more than enough for a wife to get the message. But there are plenty of wives out there who need a little more incentive. Plenty of wives out there who need a sense of urgency. My opening rant is brought to you by Happy Hippo Herbals, home of the highest quality kratom on the planet. Happy Hippo Kratom will give you an energy boost, laser focus, and increase your productivity all without caffeine. Go to happyhippoherbals.com today and save 25% off when you pay with Bitcoin. That includes your shipping. It is Tuesday. I'm sorry, good God. It's Wednesday, August 29th, 2018. Aaron Rodgers has officially broken the bank. This afternoon, looks like he agreed to a 4-year, $134 million contract with the Green Bay Packers. So his annual salary is going to be $33.5 million per year. Here's where the numbers get really silly. They are going to pay him, by the end of the year, they are going to pay him $67 million of those dollars. Okay, by St. Patrick's Day of next year, in 2019, they will have paid him $80 million. There is over $100 million guaranteed. Then there are incentives. If the Packers make the playoffs, that's an extra $2 million a season. If he finishes in the top 3 in terms of quarterback rating, that's another $2 million a season. So he could make $37.5 million per season for the next 4 years. So the total value of the contract with incentives, bonuses, etc., is almost $180 million. So if we break this down mathematically, over the next 200 days, right, Aaron Rodgers will be making $400,000 a day. Now, what's really scary about that is we're probably going to have to pay Carson Wentz around that much. We've got him cheap for the next couple of years, and if he has a good year this year, we may have to go ahead and lock him up before his rookie deal ends. So listen, congratulations to Aaron Rodgers. Unfortunately for him, the Packers are never going to win a Super Bowl as long as they have him on that squad. I mean, he's taken up 20% of the team's salary cap. You cannot win a Super Bowl when you are paying one guy 20% of your salary cap. It's just not going to happen. I don't care if you're Aaron Rodgers. And listen, one of the many reasons Tom Brady has 5 Super Bowls and 8 Super Bowl appearances is because he takes pay cuts. Brady's only making 50. I think Brady's like the 10th or 11th highest paid quarterback this season. He makes $15 million a year. Kirk Cousins is making $28 million a season. Good God, what's his name that played for the Vikings? Like Case Keenum is making $18 a year out in Denver. So I mean, again, this is why Tom Brady's the best. He allows listen, if a team wants to pay me $180 million over the next 4 seasons, I'm not going to say no. But if winning is important to Aaron Rodgers, then he has just done the wrong thing. I'm never going to tell another man what he should or shouldn't agree to. But if you're a Packers fan, listen, you guys are going to make the playoffs plenty of times, but it takes, listen, you need talent to win the Super Bowl. The main formula to win a Super Bowl is a good quarterback on a rookie contract and a stout defense. That's what we did last year. Teddy Bridgewater was traded to the New Orleans Saints today. From the New York Jets. Smart on both ends. Drew Brees has he's actually got 2 years left on his deal. So looks like Teddy Bridgewater could be the heir apparent out there for the Saints. Sam Darnold for the Jets, he is ready. He's ready to start. He's not as good as Bridgewater, but the gap doesn't really seem to be wide enough to keep Darnold on the bench. There's no need to be paying Bridgewater and Darnold. Go ahead and trade Teddy Bridgewater. He's an asset now. You get rid of him. You get a 3rd-round pick. You can bolster your offensive line. Maybe you can package that. Maybe you can package that 3rd-round pick to the Raiders to trade to give you Khalil Mack, so they can there are many options. But good trade for the Jets and the Saints on that. Here's another thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't think this was really publicized too much. Eli Lilly, which is a pharmaceutical company, pulled the sponsorship from Connor Daly, who is a NASCAR driver. And the reason why they pulled their sponsorship from his car is because, wait for it, his father allegedly used the N-word back in the 80s. It says, quote, Connor Daly is paying for the sins of his father. Connor's father, Derek Daly, on Thursday admitted that he used a racial slur in a live radio interview in the early 1980s. Connor Daly was born in 1991. On Friday, Lilly Diabetes pulled its sponsorship decals from Connor Daly's number 6 NASCAR ride, saying that it didn't want the distraction from their cause. Lilly's full statement via NASCAR reporter Chris Knight says, quote, "Our sponsorship in Saturday's race is intended to raise awareness of treatment options and resources for people living with diabetes. Unfortunately, the comments that surfaced this week by Derek Daly distract from this focus, so we have made the decision that Lilly Diabetes will no longer run the number 6 at Road America this weekend." It continues, "We remain committed to our mission supporting people with diabetes." Guys, listen, man. I'm a huge race fan, but I don't know who the fuck Connor Daly is. Like, dude, I follow NASCAR, I follow IndyCar, I follow Ford. I've never heard of Connor Daly. I had never heard of him until today when I saw the article. This is what the world has come to, guys. Whenever you get any modicum of success, people like to dig up your past, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, something you said, whatever the case may be. Close to town, Dante DiVincenzo, after he went off, I think, for 29 points in the national championship game for Villanova, I mentioned this the other night. They pulled tweets that he had tweeted the N-word, or he had said the N-word, and so he was facing all the scrutiny, right? Listen, basically, if your grandfather's brother's aunt's cousin's dog was a white dog and only barked at black dogs, looks like your career is over, which is fucking ridiculous. I see in the queue area code 707. Give me just a few minutes and I'll get right to you. If you have a story about a terrible life, whether it's yours or someone else's, give me a call at 914-205-5356 if you have a story about how you or someone you know turned a bad wife into a good wife and how he did it. You guys can hit me too. Trolls, feminists, and black women are all welcome to call in too. Follow, add, and like me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just do a quick search for Donovan Sharpe on all 3 platforms. To get access to all of my content, go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. There you will find the archive of all episodes of TSR Primetime, both audio and video, so you can listen on the go or watch at your leisure. You'll also get access to the shows I do with some of the most influential Red Pill guys out there. Rollo Tomasi, Minister Jap, Alpha Male Strategies, Alan Roger Curry, and Illimitable Man have all made regular appearances on my show. You can watch live Monday through Thursday evenings at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, but if you want to be able to rewatch or re-listen, less than 17 cents a day is all it takes, guys. If you want to support the show, but you're a little low on cash, you can still contribute. Just go to donovansharpe.com and shop through my Amazon affiliate link at the top of my homepage. By doing all your shopping through my Amazon link, you'll be supporting the show, and it will not cost you a dime. This is a great way to contribute if you are not a millionaire like Deadshot. All right.
One thing I could definitely say about the one-on-one testimonials with Donovan is that he gives clear-cut, pragmatic advice.
I came to him about 6 to 8 months ago, and at the time, my wife and I were having a lot of trouble.
If you have a question about women, relationships, sex, finances, game,
a massive blessing for my relationship and my life.
Donovan answers questions, listens, and gives solid advice.
You know, some of the top things that he teaches are what got my marriage back on track. Very grateful to him.
I can definitely say 100% Donovan's the real deal. Give Donovan a call.
Guys, if you need help with your wife or your girlfriend, if you need help with attracting beautiful women, or if you need help with getting started living the red pill lifestyle, book a consultation with yours truly on donovansharpe.com/consults. One of my clients had a wife who would not suck his dick. Being dead serious. And in less than 2 months, she's pulling down his pants as soon as he walks in the door. Another one of my clients got caught cheating red-handed. His girlfriend kicked him out and took his key. He gave me a call, and 4 months later, not only is he back in the house, she loves him more than ever. If you're not happy with your life, guys, you gotta take the red pill. If you want to dominate life and truly be happy as a man, you gotta get a consult with me. Now, I want you to keep in mind that the more detail you give me, the more effective I am. If you send me a form that says, "Hey, Donovan, how can I get laid?" or "Hey, Donovan, my wife isn't fucking me," I'm going to send you a refund immediately. I need details, guys. I need stories and examples. The more detail, the better. Don't be afraid to write me a novel. donovansharpe.com/consults. Book yours today. 914-205-5356 is the number to call if you want to get in on the show. Let's hit the phone lines. Area code 707. You're on live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Donovan, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. Called in late, man. What's the topic of the show?
I'm sorry.
So I called in a little bit late, so I missed the topic of your show.
Oh, I thought you were calling in because you had a comment.
Oh, I mean, I do, but
Oh, okay.
Not really
Yeah.
the show.
Well, tonight we're talking about this is part 2 of how to get your wife back in line.
oh, okay. It's not relevant, man. But I did want to just put it out there that yesterday, bro, I had a date, right? Came across this chick, man.
Okay.
Talking about she's 32. Talking about she's now celibate. She told me that she used to be like this big time slut, like in her 20s, right?
God.
So I found it really interesting. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. It seems like now girls are trying to like revert back, pre-virginal state.
Yeah, it's funny. This is actually nothing new. Girls have, they've been trying this whole secondary virginity thing. I remember when I was young, very, very young. I think I was watching, it was one of those talk shows. It was either like Ricky Lake or Sally Jesse Raphael or Phil Donahue or one of those shows where women were claiming this secondary virginity. They said, well, I've slept around, but now I'm going to, win back my chastity. Of course, I'm a kid. I don't understand. But yeah, it would appear that a lot of girls are trying to tell people that they're celibate as if that somehow increases their value. Well, let me clue you in on something. Girls are celibate around men they are unattracted to. Okay? If a girl wants to fuck you, she is going to fuck you. Right? Like if I walk up on a girl and I start running game, I don't think I've ever had one girl. I've had plenty of girls tell me, look, Donovan, this is the first date. I don't fuck on the first date. Dude, 9 times out of 10, I end up fucking them. It's a shit test, and it's almost like borderline virtue signaling, so to speak. They're trying to appear more chaste. They're trying to appear more valuable than they really are. Yeah, I was a big time slut in my 20s, so I'm going to be honest about that, but I'm celibate now, so you can treat me like a virgin. In other words, these women, they want men to treat them like ladies again. But here's the problem. You're already a slut. Once a slut, always a slut. Listen, if you fuck 200 guys back in your 20s, I don't care if you've been celibate for 5 years, you're still a slut. That's just how it works.
Right. I totally agree with you, right? And then I'm like, I kind of do want to game this chick just so I can like break that. You know what I'm saying? And see like really like what's popping.
Okay, well, listen, run standard game on her, man. The thing is if a woman finds you arousing enough, she's going to fuck you. Like that's all there is to it.
All right, fair enough, man. Hey, thanks, and thanks for letting me call in, bro.
No problem, brother. Thanks for the call. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of girls are trying this whole. They're trying this whole. I'm celibate. Some girls even claim virginity, and some of them technically are vaginal virgins. Like they only do oral and anal, but then they wonder why they can't pair bond with anybody. It's actually quite hilarious. But yeah. I mean, listen, I understand what that guy is saying. He says he wants to try to fuck her. Listen, man, there's no difference in with attraction and seduction and pickup. You don't have to change your game to fuck a girl who's trying to be celibate. A girl, and this is interesting. When women try to put these markers of chastity, these good girl markers on themselves, what they're trying to do is they're trying to increase their value by mouth without actually increasing their value by action. If you wanted dudes to treat you like a lady, you should have been ladylike back in your 20s. It's too late. Like you can't. And here's the thing: just because a woman says she's celibate doesn't mean she's celibate. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors, right? And listen, most women are out there fucking like jackrabbits anyway. Dude, a woman could be getting butt fucked in the parking lot by Kevin in sales. Then she goes on a date with this guy and says, "Yeah, I'm celibate." Well, okay. Well, how long have you been celibate? About 3 hours. All of that is highly subjective. So yeah, just run standard game on that chick. She wants you to treat her like a lady. She wants you to work harder for her affection. Her affection's not worth shit. Once a slut, always a slut. I'm certainly not here for that. If you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, and you want to learn how to save your marriage by getting your wife back in line, come on over to donovansharpe.com to find out. Again, my Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter audience, come on over to donovansharpe.com to watch the rest of TSR Primetime and learn how to get your fat, bitchy, ungrateful bitch of a soon-to-be ex-wife back on your dick where she belongs. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys over here in a minute Let's go to the chat. See what's up to the mod squad here. All right. Rolo Tomasi in the house. Good to see you in here. We got a John Wayner. John Ware. Okay. Very good. Very good. Joseph Israel says he is at work, but he is still listening.